Well, here's a look at some live pictures just coming into us now from the town of Osamneye. That's a couple of hours west of Gaziantep, where Becky Anderson is. And you can see rescue workers there sifting through the rubble, working into the night in terribly cold conditions in a desperate search for survivors. Durmus Aydin is the Secretary General of IHH Humanitarian Relief Foundation and joins me now from Istanbul. We really appreciate your time today. So your NGO, you've got rescue teams working across 10 cities, as I understand it, throughout Turkey, now in this second night since the earthquake occurred. How crucial is the next 24 hours?
It's really very crucial because when the devastating earthquake happened, normally there is the 72 hours time. So now we are running out of time. We are expecting that the research and rescue teams to find more survivals from the rebels, and it's a hard time. And the other problem is the weather. The weather is so cold, and the people are trying to survive under the rebels at the same time trying to survive in the cold, and it's really harsh. And all the thousands of search and rescue teams from our NGOs, from international NGOs and government agencies, they are trying to do their best, and just we are hoping that to find more people to survive and get them alive.
And Ormush, I understand for so many survivors who have absolutely nothing right now, your team is sending in the basics like diapers and food. Can you tell us where survivors are being taken to kind of get some shelter from this bitter cold?
Yeah, at the moment, the people now, because of the cold, we are trying to find a place for them to be stay in shelters. And the problem is now because the roads are demolished and the bridge is also demolished. The problem is now because of this collapse, people cannot reach the areas easily. So there are some areas trying to reach and to deliver them the relief. So it's really harsh at the moment, and it is unimaginable. It is. You can see from the views that people are still trying to get help, and the government agencies and international agencies, our NGOs are trying to reach the people for them to get the relief.
And your Turkish NGO has helped Syrian refugees in the past, survivors of the Syrian war. Do you have a team working in Aleppo right now? And if so, can you give us some perspective on how challenging it is to get aid into those people there, given the sanctions on Syria?
It's very challenging at the moment because, especially north of Syria, in Idlib site and Azaz site, there are lots of houses are demolished. The problem is already there is a lack of health facilities, and there is a lack of the machineries which they can use the collapsed buildings. And we have sent about 200 relief workers and the rescue teams in the north of Syria, especially Idlib and Azaz areas. And those cities, it's really in bad conditions, and the facilities in the health hospitals is so bad. Unfortunately, the people they are in very desperate in need, and they are really losing the hope. Unfortunately, the problem is at the moment, it's not just trying to reach the people under the rebels. The other problem is trying to send the relief for those people, and also the snowing in the area is now day by day it's increasing, and the children, elderly, and the women, they are really suffering at the moment, and we can see from the views also the conditions are at the moment very terrible and very bad.
And the WHO says about 23 million people are affected by this earthquake. What can we expect in the next week or two? What does the next phase of this disaster look like?
I must tell you this: at the moment, from Turkey, there are 10 provinces affected by the earthquake. The problem is at the moment, it is the wide area, and it's not just one area. And there is a time there is need for time for the recovery, and it is a huge work should be done by the government, by the state. It's not going to be easy. The other thing is that people are very traumatized, and the psychosocial support should be taking place in those areas. And in next coming days, the people are at the moment focusing on for the search and rescue programs. But now the next level is for the recovery programs, psychosocial support programs, and the people need places to stay, and shelter programs should take place.
Well, there's a lot of aid coming, but certainly the need is quite severe. We will stay in touch with you, Durmus, Aydin. We appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, now to a miraculous story of survival mixed with tremendous loss. Now, according to news agency AFP, a newborn child was pulled from the ruins of a home in northern Syria. A relative telling the news agency that she was still attached by the umbilical cord to her mother, who unfortunately died in the quake. The baby is getting treated at hospital. She is the only member of her immediate family to survive. Well, doctors say she arrived with bruises and lacerations, and she had hypothermia. But she's now in a stable condition, and we wish her all the very best. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.